Notes 1.5, applications of linear equations. So we got a lot of steps listed out here. So what we're going to do is grab a highlighter. In your baskets are some highlighters, or if you have your own. Okay. We've got a few words that we want to highlight in our steps. Okay. So you've got to underline or highlight all given information. So there's key there. Underline or highlight. And I always say the math words. Because there's a lot of other stuff that's going to be in a word problem. We're just concerned with the math words. Okay? Determine what you need to find out or what you want to find. Okay? The answer. What are they asking you to find? If you need to, draw a picture. They mention a shape, a rectangle, a square, a triangle. Draw a picture. Write let statements. Okay? Your let statements are going to define your variables. Okay? The let statements talk about your variables. Then you're going to take the English words, English sentences, and make a math sentence, which is an equation. Okay? A math sentence is an equation. And then you're going to do what we've been doing. You're going to solve it, and then you're going to check it. And it's always good when you're done, ask yourself, does this make sense? Okay? Does this make sense? You're talking about how many pieces of candy does somebody have, and you get a negative number as your answer, it doesn't make any sense. You can't have negative items. So always question, does your answer make sense? Okay, to the problem. So it says, it says Cassidy has a brother who is 3 years younger than she is. So who's older? Cassidy or the brother? Cassidy has a brother who is 3 years younger than she is. Is Cassidy the oldest? Yeah, Cassidy's the oldest. Okay. And her brother is 3 years younger than she is. Okay. So we've got information about Cassidy and information about her brother. It says the sum of their ages is 23. Okay, so Cassidy, brother who is 3 years younger, sum is 23. How old are Cassidy and her brother? Cassidy has a brother who is 3 years younger than she is. We know nothing about Cassidy or her brother's age. When do we know anything about? Say that again. The brother is 3 years younger, so we know something about his age. So therefore, we don't know something about Cassidy. So if we don't know, we're going to call her X. And her brother is 3 years younger. How am I going to represent 3 years younger? You got it. And the sum, what does sum mean? Addition is 23. See? It's X minus 3. I got it. I got sum in my brain. Good catch. Okay? Did I change that? X minus 3. So who can write the equation now? Awesome. Okay. So Anna automatically, in her mind, combined like terms. And that's fine. Here's the equation. That would be the next step. And then my first step is to do what? Add 3. And then what's my second step going to be? So we know how to solve an equation like this. So we added 3. We got to divide by 2. How old is Cassidy? 13. How old is her brother? 10. Do a quick check. Does the sum of their ages equal 23? 13 plus 10? 23. All right, go ahead. Let's flip it. It says that Jared has pennies and dimes in his pocket. So we've got pennies and dimes. The number of pennies is 3 less than 2 times the number of dimes he has in his pocket. Holy smokes. A lot of information going on there. So let's take out our highlighters here. Okay. So pennies is 3 less than 2 times the number of dimes. He has a total of 46 cents. Take out the math words. How many pennies and dimes does he have in his pocket? So, what do we know nothing about? The number of pennies is 3 less than 2 times the number of dimes. We know nothing about dimes. It says 42. 45? Okay. I think we probably changed that to make the problem a little nicer. Okay, so yeah, 45. Pennies. How am I going to represent pennies? So pennies is 3 less than 2 times the number of dimes. Awesome. 2x minus 3. Total. What does total mean? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Add. But now be careful here. Does he have 45 coins in his pocket? He has 45 cents in his pocket. So we got to think about, what's the value of a dime? 10 cents, right? What's the value of a penny? 1. So now the cool thing here is, because it says 45 cents, okay, how can I, so we can avoid using our decimals here. So we know that dimes are 10 cents and pennies are 1 cent, and we've got 45. So watch what I'm going to do. 10x. Why did I write 10x for dimes? Okay, all right, so Crystalline's already sort of thinking ahead here, okay? She's got this figured out, mental math. She's got it in her brain, okay? So the value of a dime is 10 cents plus, I'm going to put a 1 there just so we can see that a penny is 1 times the number of pennies equals the 45 cents. I've got to keep in mind the value of the dime, the value of the penny. So now I've got 10x. If that's a 1 there and I'm distributing, do I change that at all? 2x minus 3 equals 45. Combine like terms, what do I got? What's 10x plus 2x? 12x minus 3 equals 45. What's my next step? Add 3, then divide by what? 12. It's awesome. I just got to write it up here. So if I add 3 and divide by 12, what's 48 divided by 12? 4. 4 what? What do I have? 4 dimes. Okay? I have 4 dimes, and I have 2 times 4 minus 3 pennies. Yeah. Okay, and a lot of you had already come up with that mental math in your head, and that's totally cool. That's awesome. Okay, so we have 5 pennies in our pocket. Okay? All right, number 3, and we'll be done. Get that highlighter out. The greater of 2 numbers, so I have 2 numbers, is 1 less than 3 times the smaller. If 3 times the greater number is 5 more than 8 times the smaller. Whoo! Kind of numbers. Crazy. What do I know? I have a bigger number and a smaller number, right? Okay. Always keep asking yourself, okay, what do you know? Write it down, then think about it again. Kind of take it a step at a time. Okay. The greater number is, the greater of 2 numbers is 1 less than 3 times the smaller. What do I know nothing about? The bigger or the smaller? It says the greater of the 2 numbers is 1 less than 3 times the smaller. So I know nothing about the smaller. So the smaller, we're going to call it x. So the greater, or I should say, I wrote the bigger. Okay. 1 less than 3 times the smaller. That less than, we talked about it the other day, that took the order. Who can translate that? 1 less, 3 times the smaller. Awesome. 3x minus 1. Now we read on. It says, this is where they're going to tell us how to write the equation. If 3 times the greater, how can I translate that? 3 times the greater number, or the bigger number. 3 times the bigger number. Who thinks they know how to write that? 3 times the bigger number. Okay, she said 3 times 3x minus 1. What do we need to put around that 3x minus 1? Yeah, that's 3 times the bigger. 3 times 3x minus 1. So if 3 times the greater number is, that little word is, translates into what mathematically? Equals 5 more than 8 times the smaller. What does more than translate it to? Addition. Nice. 5 more than 8 times the smaller. Who can give me the right side of that equation? 5 more. 5 plus 8x. 5 more than 8 times the smaller. Find the numbers. Okay. So now I've got to distribute first. 9x minus 3 equals 5 plus 8x. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. We're going to solve that. Come back and talk about it. So we got x equals 8. Now it says find the numbers. So the bigger number is, or excuse me, the smaller number is what? What's the smaller one? 8. And the bigger number is 3 times 8 minus 1. It's what? 23. Think about that. What is it? 43? 23. I couldn't hear yet.